Hello all, we are back and we're looking at our instructions for the first major project of this semester for packaging design. Yay, so you will find it here, yes, instructions for major project one, benchmark one. You'll notice benchmark one because I do have a second benchmark. This is literally just the foundation. Pardon the pun, it is packaging. So we need to work on our foundation of our donut company. And when I say your donut company, I literally mean your donut company. Are you ready? Yes, I had some fun with this, as I typically like to do. So let's zoom in and have a look. Hey, you are a recent graduate of the Mohawk graphics design program and you're an aspiring entrepreneur. You've decided to turn your passion, and you've decided to turn your passion of baking into a money-making mecca. Okay, I'm paraphrasing. So you're pretty fantastic with a spatula and Nana cannot get enough of your sweet treats. So it's time to get your business off the ground. You're hoping to start small with a small shop, but looking to pay off that student loan. So you'll need to brand your new donut shop. Sound good? Don't worry, I'm not going to get you to do a whole crazy branding exercise, but we're going to have some fun with it, of course, to get some assets. But we will need to do a logo, yes. And we're going to do packaging for this, of course. Now, other sellable assets we will look at in future, but I can tell you right now, we will be doing a few printed pieces for you, okay? Now, let's have a look. I will go over, actually, I guess I can go over that right now with you. What we're eventually and what the ultimate end of this project is, we're going to be looking at doing a single serve donut container, okay? So that you will sell within your store, yeah? So it's going to be a single serve donut container that you will have on shelf, that you will give. We all seen it, right? Go to Tim Hortons and order a fancy dancy donut and they'll give you that separate container for it. That's basically what we're looking to do, but make it cool, make it neat, make it your own, yeah? Now, aside from that single serve donut container, we are also going to do, of course, a sleeve for a coffee cup, okay? And yes, I'm going to get you a blank coffee cup that you can use. And we're going to then print out the sleeve. We're going to wrap it around. And now we have a nice little brand, right? And we have, I know, because we can't print, of course, to the card, then wrap it and glue it and make a cup. That would be next level. So what we're going to do is we're going to do just the sleeve, okay? Before we get there, no stress. I want to, I have Steve ordering the cups for me. So I just have to confirm like overall sizes, etc. For all of you, as mentioned, you need to know sizes, but really it's going to be a cup sleeve. I'm not too concerned. We're going to get here together after we're done this first project. Okay. Now that's where we're going with this. I may also get you to do a few additional things when we get to benchmark 2. A coffee, I might look to do 100% coffee bag, but don't stress because that's going to be really dead simple. We'll add that in dimension. It won't be added in like here as a die because it's going to be just literally a package, a blister pack type thing. I can show you samples when we get there in a few weeks if you wish, but for now, let's not get overwhelmed. Let's just focus on the job at hand, okay? But I'm really excited for this. It went really well last semester or last year. Had some really great submissions, as I always do. And this project is downsaved or downsized from last year, just for any of you. I did have the donut package going, the donut brand going the entire year last year, and I didn't do it this year because I wanted to do something a little different. I like to grow and advance as you do. And so I'm going to do a healthcare beauty line for all of you as our second major project, okay? It's literally the exact same amount of work, just it's going to be broken into a different format, that's all. And it will give you a different genre to play with. So we're going to have food packaging for the first major project. Then secondly, we're going to look at beauty and cosmetic aesthetic, okay? Sound good? That will be our second project. Let's just look at this first one and get this started. Now, you ready to rock? What are we doing? In 3 weeks' time. So you got plenty of time for this. I want you to give it some serious thought. In Adobe Illustrator or InDesign, you're going to create a document, 4 artboards in total. Minimum. If you'd like to give me 10, rock and roll. I have no problem. These are minimums, okay? Good. Keep that in mind. We did this, of course, for branding, so you're all familiar with how this works and how I work. So 1117 portrait or landscape is fine. Okay. We're not going to print this part. We're not going to print this project out. I would highly recommend, if you want to add something like this in your portfolio as a page 1 for this project, as a remember, your employer is going to want to see your problem solving. Creative problem solving. How do you get there? What was your thought process? That's what employers want to see. Not, it's nice that you created a donut package. That's great. But they want to see how you came up with the form, how you came up with that structure. How did you, what was your investigative? Where did you go to research it? Yeah, that's important stuff, right? Problem solvers are the ones that people want to hire, right? And creative problem solvers are next level. So design a simple yet effective template. Make a header, a footer, set up guides to aid in placement of all of your items, okay? We're gonna have a mixture of items to utilize within these artboards, yes? Number 1, artboard 1, yes? Just brainstorming. Now, when I say a minimum of 4 artboards, you may wanna create a 5th artboard and do a beautiful title page. I did not put a title page on here. Remember, presentation's everything. Just saying. So, but what I require, artboard 1 is going to be your imagery and mood board. Okay. So we did this with branding. We're familiar. I want you to Google search 10, minimum of 10 images that represent or resonate with you and your brand. Think about it, right? Who are you? Now I call out that it doesn't need to be donut specific or coffee house specific, right? Or cafe specific. However you want to do this, right? You can look at landscapes or animals, general objects. We know this. This is what we did in branding, right? Now, Google search for lesser known donut and coffee companies. It's extremely important to know who you're selling to, but it's also extremely important to know who's out there in the marketplace. You need to know who they are. I want you to investigate lesser known donut shops. If that means driving around Hamilton, taking pictures of, you know, Juju's coffee shop, then go and take a picture of Juju's, yeah, and put it there and say, this is like one of the best coffee shops downtown. And no one will really know about it aside from people that live in the area. That's what I'm looking for. You can, of course, Google search coffee shops that's no one's heard of and find them. I don't expect you to drive around Hamilton looking for coffee shops that no one's heard of. But what I want to do is get a sense of who your competition is, right? Sound good? For well-known donut and coffee shop companies, right? Again, look at in your area. You don't want to go to, you know, coffee shops in. Now that's, I say that, but I digress on that one. You may find a coffee shop in China that the branding is just absolutely phenomenal, right? That's a lesser known one. Never been to China. I don't know anything about that coffee shop, but look at what they've done with their branding. Look at the signage, look at the packaging, look at, right? Probably won't be easy to find regardless, but what I'm getting at is I talked about the companies in your area would be good, but not necessarily. I just want to get some what's out there in the marketplace ideas. Does that make sense for you? It's totally your call, however you want to do that. If you find it easier to look in your area, do that. Again, it may aid in the authenticity of this, but we're brainstorming. We're just getting some thoughts, okay? All right, let's go on. Artboard 2, time to sketch, y'all. And you're like, Mitch. And I'm like, yeah, that's right. So this will be our sketching page for our logo. The branding of this project is very minimal in comparison to what we're used to. That's okay. I just want to get a logo so that we can start just plastering it all over the place, right? Also, time permitting, I do wish I had another semester with this, but that's all good. We're going to do logo sketches. Yes. 3 possible names for your shop. 2 possible slogans for your shop. We're going to look at 3 sketches or thumbnails of your logo. Okay. Now I've added this in. I personally have no problem if you want to use Procreate to sketch, or if you want to use Photoshop with your tablet and pen. As long as you're literally putting a pencil down and you're creating some creative stuff, I just want you to get some stuff out. We know how that works, right? So if you want to use Procreate, do it, right? Screenshot it and then bring that in from your iPad. That's totally fine, right? That's kind of cool if you wish. You can almost refine it further if you wish, but I need to get some basic ideas of your logo, okay? I'd like to get some color swatches. This is really important now, all. Not only is it going to be, of course, your brand, but we're going to be pulling these colors out for packaging, right? So it goes without saying, that is part of the branding process. 5 possible font samples, cool, right? Fonts you love, fonts that are going to resonate with your brand. Once you come up with a name, right? Once you come up with that slogan, you're going to have a good theme in mind, and then hopefully we can start there. Okay, sound good? Now, of course, demographic always is important. It's your coffee shop. What do you feel Hamilton needs right now? Are we a Monster Donut? Are we a Starbucks? Are we a Dunkin'? Are we like a cafe, like really high end, la la la? Yeah, you decide. It's your shop. Okay. If think about packaging, maybe you may just go where you feel, yeah, have fun with it. That's all I'm saying, as always. Now we're going to refine that logo, of course, as we've done prior in branding. And what I need you to do is then take one of your sketches. Again, this is pretty rough. Okay. Now, sorry. Yes. Sketch, right? Thumbnails. So get those logos done. Photoshop, or even on, I'd love it to be pencil and pen paper, right? Just get those done, get some thoughts down on your sketchbook, take pictures. Then we're going to bring it into Illustrator. Of course, we've done this many times. Fun. Now you'll notice I only require primary logo. You don't need to give this any more thought than creating that initial, that combination mark, okay? I'd love to see a text only and image only shown in here as well. It's always great for additional branding. If you're doing a coffee pack, again, you may want just the text to be on the coffee pack, the image only on, say, your coffee sugar packet, and then, right, the primary on your donut package. Of course, sounds good, yeah? So give it some thought. I, of course, want to see the fonts that are used. Now, I've also given you, I'm not going to look for RGB or any of that stuff. I just need your CMYK break and your Pantone swatches, okay? So once you've decided on the colorway, make sure you find the Pantone colors that are going to match. And then it's real easy to make that into a CMYK, as we know. Okay, so we've done that before. Now, our last one is really important to get the brainstorming part done. And this is where the structural part's going to come in. Okay, so I want you to Google search 6 amazingly cool packages. Just cool packages. There's ones that you're like, this is awesome. I can do something with this, or I can modify and morph this into something else. Okay, so once you get those, you're gonna 6, we're gonna place them down. I want you to sketch up now. Again, I don't mind if you use a vector or a raster drawing program if you wish, but I need 2 rough single serve packaging donut containers. Important that we always remember product size. And I've talked about that. Just remember what size a donut is. 1 inch, say high by, right? I believe it's 1 inch by about 3.5 inch. Okay. Yes, I had investigated it. I'm not going to give it to you. I want you to do that work. Okay. I want you to look it up. So go on Google, search it. It's going to be pretty obvious. It comes up right away. Okay. But that is where we want to begin, right? With our standard base, and to have that general idea in mind for size. Okay. Now, once we're done that, get our general sketch up, right? Maybe put some real quick dimensions on things if you wish to give you some really good idea. I don't require it. It's not going to be this will eventually be a die line, of course, but this is just getting the structural side, right? So take one of those structures that you really loved out of the 2 of them. They are rough, and these can still be fairly rough, but I want you to just pick one of the 2, go further with it. And if you're like, dude, I can't sketch, you're making me draw a 3/4 view on this product. Yeah, I am. I want to see what you can do. And if you're like, I just not solid at sketching, do your best. Work with 3D forms, right? Go online and see what one looks like, sort of, right? Modify it from there. Yeah, sketch from that. Yeah. And then we're going to take pictures of all these sketches, bring them in. Perfect. Submission all. I require a multi-page PDF, a smile. It is a smile. Smallest file size. Okay. Use your default settings, major project 1, benchmark 1. Don't forget to clock in. Naming will just match the benchmark. Good. Are there any questions or concerns related to this?
I got a couple for you.
Yes,
So when you say a 3/4 view, is that like, what does that mean?
sure. So 3/4 view, Mike, would be, and if you go on, let's have a look together. It would be basically like if you take it from, you know what a side view is of a box, right?
Yeah.
And front view, of course, front or back view. 3/4 would be if you tilted it and you had the point facing you of, say, the container. Make sense?
Definitely. And one more question was towards the start of this, you mentioned a header and a footer. Uh, Not entirely sure what you're looking for there. Would you
Oh,
be able to
sure.
elaborate on that?
Of course. That was literally just setting up your template, Mike. So simple yet effective template, meaning, you know, we set up templates in branding. So you got an 1117. All I need from you is like, make it presentable, make it clean, make it simple, present your work in a really nice way is what I'm getting at.
I was thinking like web stuff, so I got confused. So that makes sense.
Oh yeah. No header footer, like as in web design. We're talking just in Illustrator. I just need 1117. Give yourself make yourself a nice template before you begin. That's all.
Thank you.
Sound good?
Very good. Thank you.
No worries, no worries. But yeah, no, that's a good call out, right? Let's have a look. 3/4, oh, sorry, 3/4 view, right? So there's a 3/4 view on a face, right? Let's do, say, package. This could be very sketchy. Uh, 3/4 view package. Well, that's not a package. Let's do container. There we go, Mike. So there's a 3/4 view. Kind of like has the point coming towards you. So the purpose for that is it just shows like from a side and a front view, although in all fairness, you know, depending on what your structure looks like on a shape side of things, your side and your front may look very similar, I guess, right? But the 3/4 view is going to really give a good indicator as to how things kind of come together. And remember, it just needs to be rough. It just needs to be an idea of what that looks like, right? So there's another 3/4. And again, if you're not really good at drawing 3D structure, don't stress, just do your best, okay? We want to get some facsimile of where to begin with the die line is where we want to be, okay? But good call out. Any other questions?
I noticed in the calendar it says progress meeting. So are we just scheduling that with you like we did for branding last semester?
Yes, when do I have that, Amanda?
Well, it's in here multiple times. So it's like the 28th, the 1st, and then into October, I think. Yes,
Yeah, progress
so
meetings
just
there.
the 28th and the 1st.
Yes. So I put them there as placeholders. I'm going to change that for everyone, okay? And the reason being is because that's where I kind of thought I wanted to meet with all of you, but I'm going to get rid of it. Thank you for the heads up. Because I feel like I'd rather meet with you closer to, and I mean, I'd love to have, oh my goodness, I wish again, I had a full year to do this because I could do more like one-on-ones with all of you because I think they're really important. But I feel like it probably makes a lot more sense that we meet closer because this is going to be your thought, your like the beginning thoughts. So I almost want to meet with all of you, and we may do this. Like, and I guess it's really, I'm open to when you feel we would like to meet, because I don't want to do it like a day before the project's due. That doesn't make any sense. Because if I know some of us are afraid I'm going to ask you to make changes, and you're all going to be like, oh, why'd you do that? Why didn't we meet earlier? And then I have other students that say, Mitch, you met with me too early. I wanted to meet you later on so that I honestly am not, I've kind of got a mix when it comes to meeting students because I hear it from both sides. I hear the good about meeting early and I hear the good about meeting late. I truthfully don't have a preference as to when we meet. And I'm not sure if you all have a preference, if you'd rather meet early on in the stages or if you'd rather meet after maybe the logo is done. We've got our first major project mark in the books, and then you're getting into your structure and your overall brand. I think that makes more sense because then we'll have a lot more to talk about. Does that make sense? And so I think maybe what we'll do, and good call out, thanks for that, Amanda. We may do this like more like mid-October, do the one-on-one mid-October. So that way we'll have a really solid foundation. Of course, I'm going to be gentle with everyone. I'm not going to come and ask you to make a ton of changes and shit when I know you've already done all these awesome structures that I've made, or, you know, you're on your way. I'll make very slight changes. You're going to have my feedback anyway, as always. So you're going to know my take on it. But I think once we get to the actual package, that's when we can really look at it. Does that make sense?
If we want to still do it prior to benchmark 1 being submitted, can we have a one-on-one with you?
Oh my goodness, yes, Amanda, amazing. That
Okay.
goes for all of you. If you ever want a one-on-one with me, let me know. I love to meet with people. Guess how many people ever take me up on one-on-ones?
None.
That big old 0. It's all good. You guys are busy, man. So I leave that open. You guys know I'm always around. So if you want to chat with me, throw me even on Discord, throw me your sketches or whatever. Mitch, and you've all done that. Well, not all of you, but some of you have done that, where you take screenshot of where you're at, throw it to me and say, Mitch, what are your thoughts? And I'll be like, whoa, awesome. Yeah. But maybe suggest this. Yeah. I'm always here. If you want a formal one-on-one, Amanda, absolutely. We can meet, no problem. Okay.
I was just wondering, because I found a cool package just quickly on Pinterest, as I do for these assignments.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to, I don't know, talk to you about it because it's kind of incorporating all the other things that you want done with this package or with this assignment, like the cup and stuff eventually.
Sure.
I don't know.
Awesome.
Just a thought.
Throw it in your brainstorming, right? Because that's a great start. That's a great process to begin with if you found something you fell in love with, right? And now what we're going to do is we're going to take these amazing ideas and we're going to make it our own amazing ideas, right? And we're going to morph them and construct them, add additions to them, maybe, right? Change it up, right? Hopefully significantly, right? So that, of course, I mean, at the end of the day, a box is a box is a box. We're not looking to do that. We're looking to really have some fun with some creative structure. Not only make it interesting and cool. And again, let me see. Maybe I'll stop it there, the video anyway. And then do you all want to have a look at last semester's products so you can have an idea of what they did for their stuff? Might be helpful, yeah. Again, I don't want to overwhelm anyone. The last semester we did do, as mentioned, the full brand. Like we did 12 box, a 12 donut box. We did a mini like Timbits box. We also created that as well. So we did more, but again, that was with the full semester, where I feel like we're going to get a little bit more from doing the health brand, because not only that, I think it'll get us to step outside of our zone as well, right? If you're like, health brand, I got to do shampoo and conditioner. Are you serious? What am I going to do with this? Right? That's great. We love that. Right? So here, let me just have a look. I will find some for everyone because I just completed it last EIC packaging. Best in class single serve. Look at that. Boom. Let's have a look, everyone, and see what others did last year. Now, this is in Fantastic Fold, okay? So no stress, don't stress. We'll get here. We're gonna do this together. But this is the stuff that we can do in Fantastic Fold once we get our structure and die line done, okay? So this was, again, these are, best in class. Maybe I'll just do the view here at gallery. And I'll make it large. There we go, cool. So there we go. It's a music box, right? So the donut sits here. And then, probably put some other things here, etc., additions and so on. Now think about that, right? Think about how you can not only create a structure for a single serve donut container, that's the minimum, right? If you choose like you want to do it so that you have like a combo or something like additional that would work. I didn't call this out, but maybe you want to look at creating a donut and a coffee holder. Wouldn't that be freaking cool? Right? Instead of just a single serve donut package, if you want to take it the next step, I'm totally open for that. Yeah. Go further with it. Further is better. At the end of the day, it still just has to meet requirements. Some beautiful looks here. Sonne donut. Sonne, anybody? What language is that? I know it's a different language. Right. So this is dimension. We'll get here as well, everyone. Really simple. So that's super cool. This is literally a 3D structure that was created in Fantastic Fold and then rendered into Photoshop. And there you go. Super beautiful, hyper realistic, but not real. Isn't that neat? So this is a nice way to test out product as well. The thing with this though, everyone, is it's just not as good as a functioning sample. Like doing it on Bristol board and folding it up to make sure that everything comes together actually properly. Again, this is a digital base. It does give us a good idea, but not where we want to kind of begin with. Make sense? So that's where we want to get back to base. Baker Donut. Actually, this is Anna's. She actually won an award for this brand, just so you're aware. She entered this into the advertising awards of Canada, and she came out with a silver for this logo in the brand. So just awesome stuff, right? Adobe Dimension here. We got a little monster package, really fun, right? Monster donuts. I know there's a monster donut. What did she call it? Creature donuts or something, right? I can't see it. Anyway, so let's see, keep going. Frosted, kind of fun. Again, now look at that one, and then we look at that one, right? So I would highly recommend we maybe don't just go with a octagon, just saying, okay? Yes, the brand did really nicely and beautiful, but there's really not a whole lot of uniqueness to the overall structure itself, right? So give that some thought, right? Even adding a handle would be beautiful. Now think about handles though, and how that works on shelf. How do you stack it, right? So these are all considerations that we need to keep in mind. There's a lot to this, right? Really unique look, very different overall. This would be challenging, I think, really outside the box for sure. And then we got a rock and roll one. You can hang donuts in here, like albums, right? And maybe 1 or 2 donuts will fit into this Rebel rock and roll amp, right? Kind of fun. Pegasus, really simple, really clean, right? Your general almost, I would have said to the student, it's very bordering on like Timbit box, it's all good, but some uniqueness though, right? Like the actual fold ins and stuff, really neat. Right, super simple here all, really, but a gorgeous cutaway. It's basically a rectangle with a few window cutouts that really add to the interest on it, right? So even if your structure itself, like if you look at the overall structure and you're kind of like, whoa, this is pretty boring. Think about how you can jazz it up or make it interesting with other elements, right? We can put in bells and whistles that we wish, right? We don't have a budget for this. That would be a really big factor. You also don't have any preconceived notions as to, of course, I want you to think about some of the stuff on shelf and these questions that we need to consider as a package designer. But in this class, truly, I want you to explore. I want you to come up with those creative structures that are kind of like, this shit is out there. Like, is it something that's functional and works? Yes, it will. Does that make sense to all of you? Like this right here, like crazy, next level, like really interesting. Would this ever work? I think it could, but it's like, it's not so much the, anyway, I just thought I'd call that out. And I don't want to confuse anyone either. I mean, functionality is an extremely important part of what we do as package designers and as designers as overall, right? But how simple, right? A little cutaway, simple, like a ring box almost type look to it. This Wildcraft, oh, I love this design. So simple, very earthy. I do feel this is less of a donut container and more of a microbrewery container. You know what I mean? Like that's what I would say to the student. It looks like barley coming out, and like this almost looks like a custom 6-pack of IPAs. Wow, it would transfer over beautifully for that, but that really wasn't the assignment. But beautifully done overall. Just kind of, I think the branding needs to be looked at that. Although I love it, it just maybe not suited. I don't know. Deliciousness forever. This is awesome, right? O times infinity equals infinity donuts. Really fun. Yeah, this is kind of just a product shot that's the student created in Dimension. Really kind of fun. So it has that. And you can do all this. I'll show you how to get there. Okay, we'll get there. Another one brought from Dimension into Photoshop, right? And then put it on a countertop. Okay, and that's that. Again, I'm not here to overwhelm. I don't want to like, but that's our fine. That's what we're gonna get. Okay, everyone. Like that's our final in what, like 6 weeks. So we're gonna have 6 weeks to do all that. Okay. And leading up to that, of course, we're going to be working in Fantastic Fold. So we're familiar with it. We're going to then be working in Dimension so that we're used to it. And then we're going to be ready to rock and roll for a final project. That makes sense for everyone? Did I just like stress you all out? No one is even looking at me. You guys are brutal. Maybe you didn't realize I was looking at you. That's okay. I didn't see anyone like shaking your head, kind of like, oh, Mitch, you're killing me. I get it. Have fun with it. Questions, concerns? Amanda, does that make everything clear? Yeah. Honestly, these first 3 weeks, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say yes. It's all good.
Awesome. Use these 3 weeks again, brainstorm it, get some awesome packaging thoughts and ideas, you know, even sketch from things you see on, right? If you want to open up some packages that you see on Google and use them for reference, just to get a base, just to get an idea of where we want to go with it, right? Is totally fine. But much like we are doing here with this guy, right? With our Kool-Aid Jammer rock and roll, like, you know, awesome car, right? And this is where we're going to be going with our assignment, right? We know that, right? We need to use our Kool-Aid, oh my God. We're gonna use our Kool-Aid Jammer box. We're gonna create some awesome vehicle with it, right? So this is fun. And then I've got to rethink this too, all. I've got to go back to the drawing board and figure out how am I gonna make this work, right? Because I freaking glue, like I tape this down. I tape this side down. If I was to make this a carrying case, how is this glued? It's supposed to open up so that the kids can get into their Hot Wheels and then carry this around so they can show all their friends. Look what I did. Look what I got. All right. So what do we got here? We finish at what? What time do we start again? 9. We're end at 12, right? Yeah. So we got some time. Your assignment, let's have a look at that. Maybe we'll take a break and then come back. And I think I'm still recording. Am I still recording? Am I even recording?
Yeah,
Yes,
you are.
I am. Oh, it's good. So let's have one look here at the assignment, which we're going to do next and start into. That was our instructions overall, some samples from where we want to be for this major project. We will, again, this assignment will carry us through each week. So you will have one thing due pretty much each week. Okay, I try not to double up on things because I know, and this week I know is a little heavy because you have a quiz and you have this assignment. So there are 2 things, but you know, I tried to minimize it. And as we get into it, we will have like some days off as well, or days off, working periods that you'll have to do that. And then we'll set up a meeting as well, and so on and so forth. Now, last thing I wanted to go over, and maybe we'll just take another quick break, is the assignment. So anyone who's completed this, kudos. That being said, can I just ask, Amanda, how did you find the video? Was it okay? Did you find it worked well for you?
Yep.
Yeah, cool.
It's a different way of doing a die line. Like we're used to doing it with Phil instead of using like your pen tool, using like keyboard increments and stuff like that. So it was cool that you can even do that with the die line.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, it was easy. It took me like maybe just over an hour to do it.
Amazing.
Right? Yeah.
So good. I'm glad to hear.
Yeah.
And that's it, right? It's another perspective on how we can do it. And being custom boxes, if I were to do, of course I could do increment anyway. Let's get our hands in there, right? And let's cut some card up, let's fold it, see how it looks, right? You know, I don't want to hyper focus on, you know, 0.03, you know, product allowance. That's good to know. And I do give some allowance, and actually what we're going to do today, I don't in the videos, and that's fine, but it's good to know, right? Those are things you can all carry over from your learning, right? The allowances and so on, et cetera, and your other templates that you work from. That being said, I'm glad that it did work. Yeah, and anybody, if you want to piece out, that's cool. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to quickly go over this assignment. We will walk through it together. It'll take us about an hour, hopefully, but it should be fairly easy and painless, hopefully. So we're going to practice making a die line. Okay. Now we're going to use a picture, as mentioned, as reference, just to get something that we need to work from, which is going to be that Kool-Aid Jammer box, right? So aside from that, we're going to bring it in. We're going to create our layers. We're then going to draw from that picture. We're going to create a cut contour line. Okay. We're going to make sure we have bleeds appropriately done. And then we're going to just make sure we identify it, each panel, properly so that it's identified, and where we'd have text and what way would it fall, and so on and so forth. Okay. 2 screenshots and we're done. Okay. We're going to do this together, as mentioned. So please hang in there if you are waiting for class to do that. I'm excited to do this with you. I'm going to stop the video there, and then we'll come back. And yeah, if anybody wants to take off, you're more than welcome to. That's that. Okay. So thank you all for coming out, and we'll get into it in maybe 10 minutes. Okay. And then we'll come back.